All right, everyone. Welcome to our second stream of the night for the Fathom Mock Overwatch League. Up now is a very exciting match. We have the Dublin Dababys going up against the New York Street Rats. This match will be deciding who will be facing off against the main tank difference in our Fathom Formal mid-season tournament. Grand finals. It's going to be a very exciting, very important game for both the Dublin Dababys and the New York Street Rats. As we start, you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, when we ended the last stream, we were hyping up the fact that Olu and Evan have not been in the booth since I would say sometime in April. So it's been,
It's been
a
a
solid
while. It's been a
month
hot minute.
break.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to cast this match, to be honest, because we have two teams, like I said before, two of arguably the top three teams in the league, just kind of looking for that opportunity to prove themselves. And MTD is a scary opponent, but if we can see domination coming in from one of these teams here, it just makes me even more excited for our final match.
Definitely. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick little look at the roster of the Dublin Dababys. All six of these players have had fantastic showings throughout the regular season. Pybook's a main tank extraordinaire, Mizura, who has been extraordinary, simply fantastic on the off tank position. Diopside, our on hitscan DPS, has been one of the most consistent and clutch players in the Fathom Mock Overwatch League. Ivy, a more recent addition to this roster on flex DPS, looking to prove himself here. And then Rain and Avio, their main supports and their flex support, respectively, have been a duo for I want to say almost 2 years now. So definitely a lot of synergy in that support line that has definitely been impactful when it comes to Dublin Dababys' victory. So on paper, the Dublin Dababys have a stacked roster by every sense of the word.
I mean, yeah, we're looking at this roster here. There are names that I think two parts of this roster really got to stick out to you. The first one is going to be their backline, like you said. Avio and
Definitely.
Rin, they've played together for such a long time. They have that synergy. They're a really scary duo. But also Diopside, who is our Widowmaker 1v1 champion, our on a paintball champion, or on a sleeping heat champion. A lot of talent just in those three players alone. And it'd be just rude to, understate how impactful people like Pybucks, Miz, and Ivy can even be. So
hmm I mean, I think Diopside has earned his renown by definitely. I mean, this is one of a very very comparable hitscan player on the McCree, on the Ash, on the Widow. Any character you put on this guy's hands, he will be performing exceptionally. But let's go ahead and move on to the roster of the New York Street Rats. Now, I want to start off first and foremost with their tank line. Drop in on the main tank and Ohm 234 on the off tank. This is a tank line that has been consistently touted as one of the strongest in the Fathom Mock Overwatch League. But looking past them, Silent on the hitscan DPS, along with Kristen on the flex DPS, and then Ghost Rider actually subbing in for Shiba on the main support, which means they're probably going to be looking to play a little bit more of the Lucio compositions on this map, as well as Carson on flex support. Similar to Dublin Dababy, a really on paper strong roster. Just looking at the individual skill of each player.
I mean, the big difference between these two teams is definitely going to be, how well-rounded they are. Like I said before, Dublin is good at what they're good at, but we've seen a lot of different looks from NYSR. We've seen them play very well on the brawl, on the dive, not so much of, the poke. But this roster definitely screams dive to me. Definitely screams that they're going to want to play maybe a little bit of that rush dive. On Control Center, you could probably even see them playing a little bit of the brawl. So I think this first map is going to definitely say a lot about this series, because if we can see DDB pulling it, forward in that mirror on this brawl and dive composition, you have to consider them the favorites.
hmm I mean, and on this Lijiang map, I'm expecting, especially with Ghost Rider and on the New York Stress, I'm expecting a lot of brawl compositions to be used. That Rhyme, the Diva, maybe a little Junkrat or Symmetra, depending on what the teams prefer. We might even see a Doomfist. Not too sure about how prevalent that might be, but we've seen it here and there. So expecting a little bit of brawl. Could even see some like 6-man rush on the on Gardens, but I think we're about to start heading into our first map of Lijiang Tower as both teams are readied up.
Yeah, we just wait a little bit here for us to go in. I think it's Random is responsible. Yeah, it's Random is going to put us into the match here. Again, I'm excited to see how this goes. I think map 1 is going to be the statement of the entire match, but even still, this one I expect to go a distance.
I mean, it's going to be a very exciting game. It is important to note, though, Dublin Dababys did 3-0 their opponent going into this match, while the New York Street Rats, Dublin Dababys being 3-0ing the Honolulu Wave. Well, New York Street Rats had a little bit more, little more of a fight with a 3-2 victory over the Waterloo Wyvern. So, looking, just going into this match, Dublin Dababys are currently sitting at a stronger record, but anything could really go in this map here, and this match in general.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to start off on Garden here, and it definitely we want to see what these compositions are going to look like. I know teams tend to play a lot of that 6-man rush with your Moira Lucio, your monkey-type comps, which looks to be, what's going to come out for DDB, but NYStar is going to be showing us this Brawl comp, and again, 2 different styles are going to be clashing here. We got to see which one comes on top.
6-man rush has been incredibly prevalent, especially in the Overwatch League. But we see Ivy on the Sombra here, which was a character that was banned in the Overwatch League, so a little bit different there in that aspect, as both teams are coming out of spawn.
Yeah, both teams are going to be looking to set up here. Interesting choices. So we're actually going to have the TP onto point here. And again, we just got to see NYSR is going to want to play this one slow, but we got to see if Pybucks and DDB can take that tempo to them.
And as New York Street Rats have developed point control first with this Brawl comp and the Sim TP getting a little bit faster on that point, the Dublin Waves are just looking to try and advance into this stalwart competition of the New York Street Rats, especially with this Sigma here as a fire starting to break out on point. The New York Street Rats have claimed point first here, as Dababys just continues to swing his hammer. No picks yet, but there's a lot of just neutral poke going on here. All right, and as Pybucks looks to aggress in with the rest of his team, a lot of poke damage coming in as the Dublin Lilies have found the first pick here. Now, so while the New York Street Rats have developed some touch at the point, the Dublin Dababys looking to win this team fight out with a great first pick from the Dublin Dababys. As the upside on this Reaper is just continuing to put in damage with those Hellfire shotguns. I think we may have lost Olu here, so I'm going to be trying to solo cast this one as effectively as I can, as Ren finds on their pick onto Carson, just cleaning up the rest of that team fight.
So what we're seeing here is we're seeing that Ghost Rider does have this Lucio Beacon ready to go, and we see that Dababys does have the Death Blossom ready to go. They also have Dublin has both support ults. Do you think they can do anything with this fight, Evan?
I mean, both support ults are going to be very impactful, especially with the 6-man rush comp, that moral, the coalescence going into any team fight, as New York Street Rats looking to aggressively take this point, but Pybucks immediately pick up to Kristen. The upside following up with the Death Blossom, and Pybucks finding a 3K with the Primal Rage. I mean, they have developed this point even after that first point loss. They have found their footing and have continued to put up percentage.
And DDB didn't even have to use their most impactful ultimate there. They're still going to hold on to that EMP. They're still going to hold on to that beat here. And if they keep this momentum rolling and keep this ult cycle going, you have to ask, how much is NYSR going to have to commit to flip that point?
Yeah, I mean, NYSR coming in here with 3 ults. Hopefully that's a big EMP coming in from Ivy, the 4-man, and that's immediate follow-up from the Dublin Dababys. Off the back of Ivy's EMP, they have decisively won this team fight. I mean, this is an uphill battle for sure for the New York Street Rats.
Again, I think we just have to keep commending DDB for their ult usage here. They only invested the EMP. NYSR isn't going to use anything, but like we said, they invest the EMP, they're going to have the bomb and the beat for this fight, and they're also going to be coming up to their Coalescence and their Primal Rage here, so they're not really investing ults to win these fights.
And Ohm with the Gravitic Flux doesn't find anything. Very low value as Kristen pops props to Blizzard finding Mizra and the upside. Able to find pick on the upside as the Diva Bomb is coming out from Mizra, maybe looking to get a remake as he gets picked on the Silent. This is a back and forth fight for sure as the New York Street Rats looking to aggress at this point, but with the Primal Rage coming out from Pybucks, just putting in the damage at 99%, stalling it out. This does not look favorable at all for the New York Street Rats. Ghost Rider on the Lucio, looking to get another touch in the recontest. The overtime ticking down, and that is the Dublin Dababys finding the first point here on Lijiang Tower Gardens.
Missouri. Yeah, we talked about tempo a lot, before we got into this, and I think DDB showed exactly how you have to play that 6-man rush because New York, with their slow-paced Sigma comp, they're going to want to take their time. They're going to want to find, positions where they can slowly poke at the enemy, but Dublin isn't going to let them do that. Dublin is going in, they're rushing into their face, and they didn't really give any time for New York to be able to react with that. But here we're going to see the mirror Reinhardt comps here, so it looked like this is what NYSR wanted to play, so we'll see if this was going to favor them more.
Yeah, NYSR coming on this rush comp, this broad comp, something they wanted to force before, so hopefully they can fight to better results. As the TB comes out from Kristen, looking to find that immediate first fight in this server room. It's like this white room. The Junkrat from Diablo is going to be a little bit more spammy in comparison to the to Silence McCree, as both teams are just poking at each other, hoping to find a first pick. Pybucks is incredibly low, forcing Avio to use that immortality field. Silence able to clear it off the battlefield, but this is just another back and forth fight initially on this point, as the New York Street Rats are looking to claim this point first once again.
Yeah, I really want to focus on this DPS choice here of, the Cream, the Junkrat, where the Junkrat's going to get a lot of value in very slow fights where you can get that poke damage in, but honestly, the Kree pick from Silent here is going to work really well because it allows them to play aggressive and they can play faster than DDB, which allows them to get more value before DDB can really set up.
And on the back of Carson's very quick amplification matrix, they're able to win that team fight as Pybucks looking, with that run, you're looking to aggress as fast as possible. The Symmetra Wall coming on from Ivy. This is prime opportunity for the New York, for the Dublin Dababys to try and recontest this point, as the B is forced out from Ghost Rider, looking to keep his teammates alive. Ivy unfortunately picked off Ivy picked off by Carson, as Kristen follows up with 2 kills onto Pybucks and the Ops, like Ghost Rider cleaning up onto Avio. New York Street Rats, inversely, compared to the last point, have able to find their footing and control at this point.
The thing with this comp here is that even though NYSR is going to lose their Rhine early, they're playing in such an open area where that Kree is going to get so much more value than the Junkrat. They're going to commit a couple of their ults, stabilize a little bit, but we see this Kree pick making just so much more sense than the Junkrat in these long, open area fights. And
Pybucks with the Shatter here is looking to try and recontest. The beat is forced out by Brim, but is killed off from Silence Deadeye. The beat comes out from, the Shatter comes out from Pybucks, but it doesn't look like there's going to be value come out of it, as they're forced back once again by the New York Street Rats. A huge Diva Bomb from Mizra, finding 2 kills there. That might be a tide-turning ult from Mizra on the from Dublin Dababys as they look to finally catch this point and make some point progress for themselves.
A great Shatter going to come in there from Pybucks to really seal the deal. Flame, recognize Flame. It was really that Shatter where New York had the advantage, drop and have the big Shatter on the backline, but he wasn't really anticipating Pybucks to come around that corner, and that Shatter really did end up turning that fight.
Yeah, and surprisingly, Avio used the amplification matrix there. That was a little bit interesting choice for him to use his ult there on what looked like a pretty succinct teamfight victory. That might be dangerous going into this next team fight, as Ivy's Simwall comes out looking to just kind of force back the New York Street Rats. Silence able to find a pick on the Avio. Pybucks falling on the pick on the Kristen, just trading on DPS there. But with Dublin Dababys in control at this point, this is looking favorable for them.
A really great lamp I want to highlight there coming in from Carson. We see they actually TP Dio to the other side to try and get that flank tire, and Carson's reaction time with that lamp absolutely saved dropping, and I think this fight would have been completely different if that lamp never came out.
Yeah, and then ult just coming out from the New York Street Rats, able to once again find control at this point. They still have a beat and almost a shatter going into this next fight, if there even is one. Public's looking to recontest with the almost very close to a shatter, but he's probably going to burst down. A very good immortality field coming out there from Avio to save his main tank, but that is just not enough, as the New York Street Rats have turned or have evened up this map on Lijiang Tower with a pretty decisive win on the on Control Center.
Yeah, the scoreline's gonna say otherwise, with DDB being able to capture 50-something%. But I would call that very decisive. We saw, this kind of explains a little bit why NYSR wanted to try that Rhine comp on Gardens, because this is clearly their bread and butter. I think if they ever go down a map in a series, they're gonna want to pick maps that favor this brawl type of comp, because this is where it looks like they're going to win out.
Now, Dublin Dababys looking at this this wrecking ball competition with the farmers. This is something that they're a little bit more favorable towards. Something that we saw them used against the Las Vegas Dinner in another stream match. Now, this might be something that they're a little bit more accustomed to, more favorable in terms of their pet comfort picks, as the Sim TP comes out from New York Street Rats, giving them once again control of this first point objective here. Silent on the Symmetra looking to just try to burst, or not burst down, but get that energy up. Hopefully do some strong damage. But Avio finds a pick on the Silent. Silent competition there. Avio was able to maybe find like a right click into him. As it's going to be that's a big loss for New York Street Rats, as the Dublin Dababys looking to aggress further in to this point. The New York Street Rats have developed a point control, but with Dublin Dababys on the aggressive, as well as that being up one. Unfortunately, they weren't able to turn that into a team fight win, as this looks like another decisive team fight victory for the New York Street Rats.
It definitely looks like a mistake going to come in from Dublin here. I think, they can afford to have these very long, drawn-out team fights, and the faster these team fights go, the better it's going to look for New York Street Rats on their brawl comp. And I think they really did try and commit a little bit too early than I would have liked, because they didn't really have any advantage when they decided to fully commit. We saw Dio was forced back a little bit, and I think timing was just off here, but they're gonna have the ult to try and push for it the second time.
Yeah, Mizra coming in with this with Skirted Flux, and then support ults on the side of Dublin Dababys is going to be hopefully able to turn the tides of this round. The upside with the Pharmacy Pockets looking to try and get some good poke, a good pick, but Kristen is able to find Ivy as a pretty huge disadvantage for the Dublin Dababys, as New York Street Rats are continuing to percentage into this point.
Again, this fight is just going to continue to be drawn out here. It looks like Dublin Dababys is going to win out this, like I said, this very long, drawn-out fight. But NYSR, especially on this brawl comp here, is putting up a really good fight. It might actually even be turned by them.
Yeah, despite the picks that the Dublin Dababys were able to find, this looks like New York Street Rats is still in control, and they're still setting the pace of this fight. Pybox able, on the wrecking ball here, not really able to find as much, peel for his team in comparison to drop it on the Reinhardt with that shield. This is looking scary, looking like an uphill battle for Dublin Dababys, as they try to aggress with this far ult. It looks like this rocket barrage. The Mizra coming out with a pretty big rate of flux. I believe they found the entire 6 of the team, but if Dublin Dababys isn't able to touch this might be end game. A good pick onto Silent there from Ivy, as well as follow up on the drop in. Ivy might be able to turn this one by himself on the Tracer. The ults coming out from Avio here, the Transcendence. Dublin Dababys is being forced to use everything they have to turn this fight.
With that, the way the last fight went, we saw that Miz actually started the fight with his flux. He got a flux the second fight going after that, and he's already 70% to his next flux. So definitely these long drawn-out fights we see are going to continue to favor them. But like you said, DDB had to use a lot in that fight to make sure that they got the victory, and if NYSR decides to play this fast, I think they also have the tools to just end it quickly, and just like that, Dio's gonna go down early.
Yeah, that's a huge pick onto the upside with the Far Mercy. Carson and Silent able to find a very big team fight turning pick. Silent follows up with 2 of his own onto Avio and Ivy. Even though Dublin Dababys, they got that point control, New York Street Rats was able to very quickly just recontest and win this team fight off that first pick at the upside. That is looking to be a pretty decisive win from New York Street Rats on Lijiang Tower. Despite that But despite the first round not going in favor of them, that is 2-1 on Lijiang Tower for the New York Jirates, putting them 1-0 in the series.
We talked about before the series, Dublin is good at what Dublin is good at. And when I said that, I was referring to this composition. I was referring to Pybucks being a freak of nature on that ball character. They have very good synergy, like we said, with the backline, which is really shown off in this Mercy Zen type comp. And it just allows them to play their own game. But honestly, NYSR just said no to that, and they played that brawl comp. I don't want to say to perfection, but they played it really, really well into their poem comp. And they might have the solution going on. I think it just is really going to depend on how well DDB can adapt going forward.
I mean, and we saw, Dublin Dababys go into a more comfort style of competition on that last point, and it really just didn't help them whatsoever. I mean, that was probably the biggest loss they took on that map. So it's going to be very important for Dublin Dababys to be able to try and find their footing on a competition that's a little bit more meta, perhaps a little bit more, stable in terms of those natural synergies. And that's what I was talking about earlier on in the last stream. I was worried about Dublin Dababys being able to find their footing in an actual competition that has those natural synergies. I mean, as fun as it might be for Pybucks to be playing the Wrecking Ball and for Gapside to be on the far Mercy with Far and Rain on the Mercy, if they can't turn those comfort picks into concise victories for a team fight or a map, that's going to be difficult, severely difficult for them to be able to win this series out.
Yeah, it's not over yet though. I think that's what we really have to stress here, is because NYSR is, yes, so far looking better on that brawl, but I think going into map 1, DDB played very well on that rush comp. They played very well on the dive comp, and I think if they keep it up, that might be their win condition for this entire match.
And as we set this lobby, we're going to be having we're going to be going to Hollywood for our escort map. Or sorry, a hybrid map. My apologies, I got the names mixed up there. But also, we're going to be having Shiba in for Ghost Rider, so likely going to be switching away from the Lucio competitions and more in for a Brig or a Mercy competition, depending on what they're looking to do.
We know Ghost Rider likes to play that Lucio for them, when we see him, and we expect him to play that Lucio like he did, for all 3 rounds of Lijiang. But this kind of says to me that maybe they're trying something different, maybe with some sort of Mercy or Brig-oriented dive. And I think that just puts them more in the territory of what DDB wants to play, because even though they did end up losing out when they got to play their ball poke style comp, I think NYSR really just played that brawl really well, but I don't know, and at least they haven't proven it to us yet, that they can take control the same way they did outside of that comp if they ever do have to face that ball comp. And on the other side of the spectrum, if they decide to play more of a monkey focused comp, again, DDB arguably look their strongest on Lijiang on that type of comp. So I don't think that, not that I disagree with the switch, I think that it's a whole different ballpark for them now.
If I had to do some speculations, a little bit of a soul read here for the New York Jirates competition, I'm going to be guessing. This is going to be a little bit of a hard guess. I'm going to say they're going to be playing double bubble, so drop in on the Winston and Ohm on the Zarya, Silent on the Ashe with Christy on the Tracer as well, and then Shiba on Brig and Carson on Ana. That is my soul read going into this map. That is my assumption, my hypothesis even for what New York Jirates will be playing. It's going to be important to see how well they'll be able to utilize the composition. But also, it's going to be even more important for Dublin Dababys to be able to see how they're going to be able to bounce back in this series.
As we head in here, I think, again, every map we just got to start off looking at those compositions to see, how teams decide to play. We're just going to wait on Ace Random here just for him to give us a thumbs up, and we can start heading in. I don't know if you have some sort of insider information here, Evan, about, what comp they plan on playing, but with their roster, I think that comp does look very feasible, and we're going to see NYSR starting off on the offense here, so we kind of got to see what they want to play here. I think, in this offense, right? What do we expect DDB to play here? I think that's the real question. They're going to be
and that's a very, very good question, because DDB, I mean, they kind of play what they want to play. I mean, my knowledge of what the Street Rats might be able to play is coming from like what we saw in their stream against the Austin Blaze, and what they're more favorable towards. But as we look at this now, I mean, it looks like Dublin Dababys are going to be playing that 6-man rush. Not duplicates. There's no Echo. There's going to be a Sombra in its place, but I mean, this is a very strong comp, and on this map as well as perfectly capable.
I actually really do like this comp coming out from them. We're seeing flashes of the double bubble here, but I think as time kind of goes on, as the meta in Overwatch develops more, I very much like this rush style comp because, like we said on Gardens, they were able to, take control of the fight. They were able to play as fast as they wanted, as fast as they needed every single time. And especially into this, now, dive comp, which you're going to see from NYSR. If they do that same thing, I think their ult cycling was really good, and it's just going to be another example of DDB just taking control when they're on the dive.
Yeah, and color me surprised with Kristen on the Echo with Silent on the Tracer. Kristen known for their Tracer play. So I'm a little bit surprised with that pick of competition. But I mean, Dropin is able to find an immediate pick on the upside, and that's going to be very important as they look to aggress. Silent following up with a pick on the Mizra. I mean, with the attackers already up to this is an uphill battle for sure for Dublin to play on this defense. Pybugs is just chipped down by the rest of the New York Street Rats, and they get a very fast first point cap on Hollywood here.
I really did not like, how DDB decided to play that, because it looks like they were just throwing things at the wall and hoping that, by going first they would have won. They didn't look like they had a plan. I think they engaged way too far. You were really far into, we're going to call it enemy territory, because they hadn't even gotten past the first choke when that dive happened. And I think, with a little bit more thinking and a little bit more patience to their dives, they can still play faster, but they got to be a lot more careful with when they want to dive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And off the back of that very quick first point cap, the New York City Reds have already found this high ground control, which is very important in Hollywood. As Kristen's able to just put damage into the rest of the Dublin Dababys and drop in, as well as Kristen just finding picks onto DDB. This is difficult for sure for DDB to come back from this. Public's able to counteract with a pick onto his enemy main tank. But it's going to be interesting to see if the Dublin Dababys are going to be able to turn that into a team fight victory, as they are just struggling to find any footholding against the New York City Rats.
I mean, we talked about how good they were at controlling the tempo, but what this really looks like to me is either something's gone wrong, maybe, mental after map 1. I think they just gotta, go through, reset their mental, realize there's still a long series to go, still extremely winnable for them, and just kind of get together and play as a team, because that fight there, they had the ultimates. It definitely is something that they should have won, and it looks like NYSR just got to go first, and just like this, they're going to open them with the EMP here, and it does look like it's going to be a winnable fight through them. Yeah, so they're going to get the picks here.
Yeah, I mean, a big EMP from Ivy there's going to hopefully seal this team fight.
No, and the C9 just happened, and the worst possible thing that could just happened.
This is a nightmare scenario for the play, having a huge EMP from Ivy there, able to find pick after pick. The C9, I didn't even see who that was, who was able to find the C9 there. I'm going to assume it was Silent the Tracer. That's my best guess. I'm pretty sure that's who's able to find the C9. But I mean, that is completely awful for them to Dababys, as they had. I mean, New York City Reds with a 5-minute time bank for this third point, and that is insane.
I mean, the one redeeming quality for DDB here is you're going to have the ults. NYSR really had to use a lot to get through that Street phase. They're not really going to be coming up to anything except for that Primal Rage. But you're going to have your Lucio Bean, you're going to have your Blossom, your Bomb. You will not have Blossom. You will not have Blossom.
The upside, a little bit aggressive there with, I mean, he Wraith formed into the enemy team, couldn't find anything. I mean, that is a bit of a misplay from the upside there. Uncharacteristic of him. I mean, maybe not too used to the Reaper, as New York City Reds are just continuing to find more and more push onto this cart.
I mean, yeah, Dio was really just all. I think, again, something is clearly off with DDB's team coordination. They're definitely not on the same page right now, because Dio went in alone. The ultimates are going to come in here from NYSR, and again, in these very long fights, that's not what you want if you're DDB. You want these fights to be quick, you want them to be decisive, you want to be in control. But NYSR is just loading every ultimate they have, and it's looking very good for them.
Yeah, I mean, Dropin was spawn camping Rin there for a while, silently able to find Mizora. I mean, I can't even speak on the pulse bomb there. I mean, Pybuck's the upside able to find two, which is going to be very important in order to turn this team fight. But Dropin and the rest and the rest of the NWS are on this point, just looking to push as far as they can, hopefully getting that capture. Probably able to find Ivy, Mizora able to find Kristen. I mean, luckily DDB is able to find these pick-offs onto New York Jets, which is going to be pushing them back further and further as they look to hopefully not get capped too quickly on this Hollywood third point.
It's definitely a really good fight win going to come out here for DDB. Definitely a fight win they needed to kind of slow down this momentum. And we're going to see Miz staying on the ball here. I'm not too confident with that. And the ultimates are just going to be here for NYSR. And it really just depends how well can DDB kind of kite these ultimates.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully with the support ult coming in from the Dublin Dababys to be able to hold this point as Kristen finds a very strong pick off at the offside. The offside once again a little bit further extended than he would like to be. I mean, hopefully with Rin's beat coming out, they'll be able to turn this team fight. But the offside really needs to try and play a little bit less aggressive if they want to be able to succinctly win this map. A good EMP coming out from Ivy there, finding 5 of the
really
players.
Nice
Yeah, huge EMP there. That's going to be a good team fight win there, especially.
So the good thing here, if you are DDB, is you want this team fight. That 5-minute time bank you had, off of that very, very, very sad C9, is going to be dwindled down to about 2 minutes here. And if you're DDB, you're still stuck on ball. That is true. But you also are going to have basically everything except for EMP and beat here. And I think, again, if you can play these ultimates first, you have the ability to win these fights early and prevent NYSR from really setting up.
Yeah, and Silence switching to McCree here is going to be a little bit more favorable towards his play style. But I mean, a great engage there from Dublin Dababys is able to find 4 off very, very quickly. Another very quick team fight win. But at what expense? I mean, they had to use what 3 ults there. I mean, that is quite a price to pay. 4 ults now with the mines coming up. So I mean, that's quite a price to pay to just try and force NYSR back just a little bit further. I mean, they're going to be coming in here with 3 ults to Dublin Dababys like 1.
DDB definitely looks like they're on the same page. And I want to highlight that Blossom from Dew that, we all saw get a lot of value was really only enabled by Ivy's hack on the D.Va here. And, I know Ohm was out of position, but even still, that hack enabled Dio to actually get the full value out of his Blossom.
Yeah, and Pybuck luckily was able to use his ult there, but he was a good sleep on him from Carson, although Carson had to pay for his life, pay with his life. Ohm able to find a deep to be enough. As Dublin is able to once again push NYSR back further and further in this fight. Dublin fighting 2 though. This could be big as the parallel comes out. It hacked over from Ivy, but able to just kind of swing his arms into the upside, finding a pick there. This could be pretty big. I mean, that is a 3K from Drop and hopefully able to turn this team fight. The EMP coming out from Ivy finding 2, not as impactful as you might like as NYSR is crowding this point and just continue to pick off players from the Dublin Dababys. Drop finding another 2. That's a 5K so far in this team fight. Kristen on the Doomfist now, hoping to get back to point a little bit quicker. Able to find Mr. But I mean, that is just more and more kills coming in from NYSR. The Deadeye coming out, hoping to take a little bit of space as the car just rolling into this last point, and the New York Street Rats were able to finally complete that 3rd point with a little bit of time to I mean, 7 seconds, not much, but it's not 0. That's going to be very important if the Dublin Dababys are able to full cap, because that's going to be if Dublin Dababys are forced into overtime, that is a first take only that NYSR needs. So that's very important to be able to cap with time there. So big plays from the New York Street Rats.
Fight was really all dropping. I mean, at the start of the fight, it looked really good for DDB. They're gonna go early. Haza, please mute. They're gonna go really early. They're gonna get that good engage, right? But Droppin is gonna end the fight with 2, or we'll say start the fight with 2. He was sort of thinking, "I'll find Haza." He was dropping his nuts in the enemy team's face, and he starts the fight with 2. He gets the primal. He's hacked. He has to stroll down main to get these kills.
Just really slaps the upside on the Reaper. Just kind of like pimp slaps him, and it finds the kill.
And he found 3 picks that fight. That's what I'm trying to say, is he really opened that fight for this team, and he's the reason that his team really had that opening. And like Evan said, 7.7 seconds here. They're gonna get another chance if DDB gets this gets the cap, and even if DDB gets into overtime, you're still looking good. You're gonna have 7 seconds more. It's not a lot, but it's still something to finish the map, kind of collect your thoughts, if you will. So definitely not the 5 minutes that they started off with, but definitely a good place to be if you're NYSR.
And I mean, Dababys is now on this double bubble comp, a move away from the 6-man rush. Interesting choice here. Maybe looking to just build nano as fast as possible, engage with the nano. But now we start on this double shield with the Torbjorn. Very interesting picks from both sides here. A little bit uncharacteristic, not what we've seen from them as of yet in this series.
I really do like this Torbjorn pick though. I mean, NYSR is going to look to mirror their way into this victory, get that one map over the fuel, if you will. This Torbjorn pick is really effective at shutting down that dive, but just as I say that, Evio gets a huge anti that's going to get everybody low.
I mean, what a nano from an anti from Avio, able to find like 3 kills there, and then the rest of Dababys just able to clean up. And then, I mean, once again, a very quick team fight, a very quick point A, but the Dababys this time are the ones victorious here.
A really good pincer attack at that, because I don't know if everybody was able to catch it, but Ivy started that fight in the backline, and as soon as that anti came in, not only was Pybox in, which is why he didn't have this primal, but Ivy was also there in the backline.
Yeah, and Pybox taking a little bit too much poke there, forced out, as drop in silent, find 2 picks on the Mr. and DX respectively. I mean, as concise as that team fight victory was for Dababys, the NYSR have found their footing, taken that high ground, and are able to push back Dababys. As Ivy's looking to, on this Tracer, hopefully trying to find a pick off onto the supports, the back line of Sheba and Carson, pretty big with the pulse bomb. But Pybox here with the primal rage, going to be able to stay a little bit longer in the front line of this team fight.
We see that Tracer 1v1 there happening on the side, but again, NYSR doesn't really have all the tools they'd want to work with in this fight, and I think DDB notices that. They're just going to push their advantage. They're going to know they have the tools that they want, and they're just going to get to go aggressive with this dive.
Yeah, Sheba found out of position there, a good pick, and then the follow-up with the nanos, Pybox is able to just use that nano's advantage, just find 3. Once again, a strong team fight win there from Dababys, and this looks like to be heavily attack favored from both sides. Interestingly, how that's panned out, as the more and more card push has been accumulated by the Dababys.
I mean, NYSR didn't do a great job of getting high ground control there. Something you definitely would have wanted if you had the defense high ground earlier. The pulse bomb whiff going to come in from Avio, just needs to turn around at that point.
Yeah, but I mean, Kristen on his signature here, the Tracer here, found a pick on an Avio, and with the rest of his team able to follow up, another pick on a Mizura here. I mean, another team fight win from NYSR. Hopefully, another C9, but no promises.
Yeah, we're gonna hope, we don't see a C9 here, but I think that was really well played. I think, I never want to say it's all on one person, but Christian did a really good job there. He almost one-clipped the Mercy, getting them really low, kind of forcing out the Valk a little bit, and did end up getting that pick onto Avio. If you're DDB here, you're gonna have the copy, you're gonna have the primal here, so you're gonna want to look for maybe that double. The double monkey's gonna come out here.
Yeah, double monkey's gonna come out here.
Yeah, get that dive and see if you can isolate one target here. Ivy's going to be the first pick, though, and a great counter engage actually going to come in from NYSR, though. They played that as soon as the double monkey came in, they were already on the backline.
Yeah, despite the ult coming out from Dababys, that was a very decisive win for NYSR. Not even finding a pick with those ults, and Dababys very quickly able to, NYSR very quickly able to win that team fight. I wasn't able to see too well, but I mean, I think that pick on the Tracer to start it off was a turning point for sure. As I mean, looking into this, NYSR has quite a few more ults on the board compared to the NY. Oh wow, Kristen with a 2K onto the back line with that pulse bomb. That's going to be, I mean, that is a instant team fight loss. Dababys are going to be forced to move back further and further. As the New York Street Rats are looking to hold pretty close here. I mean, they're pushing DDB into their spawn, a little bit aggressive there as they're forced to back away just a tad.
we question why Silent was on the Tracer. I don't know if it was this map or last map, but I mean, we see just how good Kristen is. I mean, he pulse bombed those 2 orphans into the Shadow Realm. Oh my god.
Okay. I mean, as I was able to find Silent. I mean, as with Pybox's probably coming out here juggling Carson, she was able to find a quick little stun, but that's a big anti there.
Avio anti
Avio once again. Avio with the anti is coming on clutch, consistent. That is clutch with consistency to quote Bren. To quote Bren, but I mean that is that on the back of that that anti nade, that it's looking like the Dublin Dababys are going to be able to find this the second objective here on Hollywood. What's coming out here though from New York Sheriff's looking to turn this around. Rin, finds picking a Bob, but not another. Well, anti nade there from Carson, little parting gift before he was picked off, but Dublin Dababys, despite the recontest from New York Sheriff's, are looking to close out the second point as they move into the third point of Hollywood. And I believe we might have lost Olu here, so I'll be once again solo caster. The upside able to find a little pick onto Ohm there, as there's no one on cart, but the Dublin Dababys are pushing quite far in. Finding quite a few picks. It's a little bit difficult to see.
We are seeing
but we have
NYSR though have the nano boost ready to go along with Kristen, switching to the Mei last minute. That's actually crazy. I'm surprised they're keeping the Ana as well going into this fight. Visa Mazoris with the bomb. Do you think he can get anything out of it? Considering that Dive side has bombed already the dupe, do you think they'll find any success with it at all, Evan?
I mean, NYSR switching over to the Brawl here, only keeping that the honor for that nano.
What I'm seeing here is that Piper is being slept and being CC'd the hell over up on the top ropes over there.
Simply the main tick experience, my friend, as NY starts up to find a little bit of footing as Ohm gets picked onto Avio. A big eat from Ohm onto Ivy's pulse bomb.
I think
As DDB is forced back further and further. I mean they do not have that 5-minute luxury that NYSR had before. The time is dwindling down further and further.
Gonna be the good thing here for DDB is that you were able to delay that 5 minutes a lot. So even though you are going to get delayed here, it's not going to be the worst possible thing for you. Maybe the second worst thing to happen to those orphans. But you're going to have time. You're going to have at least 53 seconds here to try and get a similar or greater time bank. And we're going to see NYSR in this brawl here, but you have the ultimates. The important thing is they have the tools. It just depends on how they decide to use it. And this is the fight to do it.
Yeah, 4 ults on the side of DDB, hoping to get a little bit more progress onto this map, onto this third point. But I mean, the counter ults coming in from NYSR is dropping fight that is humongous on the side of the next Street Rats. More ults coming in, a soul shatter looks like onto Silent from the outside, using the Echo Shatter very loosely as you would. Back and forth here, both teams trading out players and picks. But with a slight swan advantage for the Dublin Dababys, this is probably the Dublin Dababys teamfight win. We are almost in overtime here. Only a couple seconds left until overtime, and that is going to be huge for New York Rats as they only have to cap that first tick on the attack now. Only if DDB is able to close this map out.
No, actually, they're gonna have to. Each DDB would get a minute, and then.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah, NYSR would get the ring down, but I really do want to talk about this Pybuck switcher onto the Rhine. He knows the shadow is going to be in there for dropping. He knows he needs to block that shadow, and this solo shadow is going to come out here. This is not looking too hot because you're going to have those defenders spawn, but the picks are coming in for DDB here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, but with that spawner's advantage on the defense here, New York Street Rats is in a pretty good position if they're able to find a little bit of recontention. Almost the only one left, but as the rest of NYSR comes out on these stall picks, it's going to be important for them to try and find a couple of picks. The people coming in from the offside onto the wrecking ball, looking to stall this out just a little bit further. I mean, that looked just to save his own life, but. Even in overtime, the Dublin Dababys were able to find that third point as we go into our second, I guess, section of Hollywood.
Yeah, round 3 gonna come on here. 1 minute to 1 minute 7 seconds. Not a lot of time for both teams here, but definitely have to commend, Avio DDB. It just looks like, Avio and his goon platoon are going to end up cleaning up there. So it's not over. It really isn't. I think we're going to see DDB on the attack first. And I think if they can have a similar attack, if we see NYSR go for that Torb play again, I think they have the heroics, and they've shown that they have the heroics to pull off another first point cap.
Yeah, I think AVO's Goon Platoon might be the most accurate depiction of the Dababys that we've had so far. But Dababys once again on this rush comp, they keep switching up their compositions on this map, which is a little bit surprising. But they're looking to play that that 6-man rush with the. I think they're still deciding between what Ivy's going to play, either the Hanzo or the Kree. Hovering over the fire, an interesting choice, but we see a pretty standard brawl comp coming in here from New York Street Rats. So hopefully they're going to be, Shiba not as familiar with the Lucio Ghost Rider, is more of their Lucio player. So hopefully that won't be too detrimental, as the New York Street Rats are going to be on the defense here against Dababys' 6-man rush comp on the attack.
Yeah, Shiba hovered the Brig there. The Brig map, I wasn't going to be a huge fan of it, but again, this just depends on how does DDB want to take this engage.
Yeah, and as Dublin looks to find their footing into that first push, Silent able to find a very good pick onto Pybooks there. That first pick is going to be huge hugely in favor of the New York Street Rats. This puts them in a prime position just to win this team fight out, and that is a lot of time already spent gone for the Dababys.
It's a good pick to slow down the fight, but I don't know how it happened. Silent looks like he did the majority of that damage there. But AVO didn't really get a lot of that healing back in terms of Coalescence chart, so you're not really going to have the tools to work with here, but Silent and Ohm are going to go for the early engage. The DMEC is going to come out, force the lamp here, but looks to be a mistake coming in from NYSR, but we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, I mean, Kristen with a very fast freeze, able to find a blizzard onto the point, but this is just a back and forth tussle on this point here. He also able to find a pick onto Shiba, but the amplification measure coming out from Carson, not going to find much value out of it, as Mizora is able to pick him off. Dropping back here on the balls, looking just looking solid as long as possible. The upside, able to find 2 with that Reaper, Mizora picking off Ohm, and I mean, this looks like Dublin is going to be able to at least find a tick, hopefully.
Scrappy fight, to say the least, but like I said, Ohm, I think, really did overstep his bounds there. Forced out the lamp really early. They're not going to have it, and it was this close. It was really just this close to NYSR taking the fight, because what I was going to say is that AVO needed to get that Coalescence, and he did end up getting it at the end of the fight. Christian took him out before he could use it, but even still, heroics from Dio able to save that point, save his team. His hopes aren't over just yet. So, but again, look at this ult bank here. If we're talking about this, DDB is going to have all the tools in the world they're going to need. They're going to have basically 6 ults, right?
Yeah, in the EMP coming out, able to find 2 onto Ohm and Silent from Ivy's EMP. He pays his life forward, but Mizora with a follow-up, a Diva Bomb, able to find Silent. Mizora, my apologies, Haza Toronto. But the Primal Rage coming out here from Pybooks, just laying up this point further and further. Kristen finds the upside, but and a blizzard to follow it up. I mean, this looks like point control for NYSR, as overtime is going to be ticking down incredibly quickly. I mean, just more and more picks from the NYSR. Amplification Matrix coming out from Carson, the beat coming out from Shiba. Every ult's being used just to close out this fight. The upside finds a pick on the Carson with the Death Blossom, but overtime ticks down quite quickly. And with only a minute to use, DDB was able to find very good ground on that second attack.
Might be a little bit of a caster curse there, but I mean, like we said, DDB had the tools. I think they were very quick with it, as you'd want to be, but they didn't really end up finding the value that they wanted. Miz is going to send the bomb towards Silent on the elevator. The elevators are going to move, but Silent's still going to be going up. And the tools were there. I just think they were so early with it. They didn't look like they had a plan with it. They were just kind of throwing things in, hoping to get value, which isn't always going to be the best approach to it. But we're going to see a different comp here. We're going to see them pull out this Brawl, which we haven't seen too much of them. We saw a little bit on Control Center on Liege Dawn, which
but not this map at all.
Eventually lose. Yeah, we also saw a little bit of Pybooks Rhine, probably just a block of Shatter at the end there. But not really something we've seen from them. I think this is the one comp that we haven't seen them prove themselves on. And they're going to be going into this against the NYSR double bubble comp. They saw a lot of success with this earlier on their first attack. Something looks like we're going to see something a little bit creative here. Yeah, their first attack, they saw value with it. I think that was just a misplay and over-aggression coming in from DDB, and creativity at its finest. We'll see how this works out.
This is an incredibly high risk, high reward play coming here from the Dublin Dababys. I mean, this could be incredibly good or incredibly bad. Could go either way, as they hold very close here on this first point, looking to just use as much of the time bank from NYSR as they possibly can. But Droppin's able to find that first pick on the Diop side, and that could be it for the first defense on from the Dublin Dababys. Following with the high bucks. I mean, I think that just kind of spells the end for it. So very high risk, very low reward from that set play on the side of the Dublin Dababys. I mean, I don't think it really worked out in their favor as much as they would have liked it to be.
If you're DDB, you kind of just have to die fast here, get that reset. We're gonna see the switch coming out here, but again, just like as they tried with their 6-man rush strategy, I think they're just going way too early, right? You know, nobody's really in position to be caught out by that May wall. They're still in such open space, and at the end of the day, them going early and dying early is going to give all the tools to NYSR.
And it looks like drop it in on the high ground, but he's a little bit further extended, very low with the Diva mech. But silent with the plus one here, looking to capitalize on it. Doesn't find much, but Oma's very close to being mech. He gets eventually mech. Pilot's able to find a pick off the Shiba. That is humongous, but Droppin falls off the pick on the Avio. And what's that is both supports, 0 sustain for Dublin Dababys. A bit of a spawn advantage for NYSR as well. Even though Pilot is able to find a pick on the Ohm, the Droppin is able to use that primal rage to stall just a little bit further. A pretty good anti from Carson on a Mizrael, just able to force not allow any healing. As this fight continues, Silent also popping the primal rage. I'm not able to see what's going on at the point, but that's two picks once again for NYSR. Kristen copying the diva here, finding that mech kill, or finding the diva bomb. Forced to the Doomfist here, but despite how well the DDB played on the second attack, able to find a little bit of push, NYSR is going to be claiming Hollywood for themselves, going 2-0 in this series so far.
Again, I think that last fight, from the looks of it, you're gonna say it was, not really one-sided. It was back and forth, but as soon as that nano got popped onto Drop in there, the amount of space and attention he created was a lot, to say the least. 50-70 limbs, 70% basically kill participation. Right. I think Drop-in played extremely well on this map.
Yeah.
Especially with that
gameplay here from Drop-in. Holy
moly. The amount of space he created, I think there were still mistakes that came in from DDB, which, if they were to patch, they could have won that fight. We saw the D-Mech come out. Dio opted not into using the Blossom. But, again, I think that was just... I think we have two very individually skilled teams here that match up pretty well. But time and time again, New York just keeps coming up in the clutch.
Yeah, I mean, New York Ride's 2-0 up in the series, a first to third. This is scary for Dublin Dababys. This could be depending on how the rest of the series go, this could be the end of their fast normal run. So I mean, this is incredibly frightening for the Dublin Dababys going into the third map. But I believe we'll be taking a little bit of a break. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're actually going to head into a 5-minute break. A lot to digest from this one, so definitely a lot more to come. I don't think this series is anywhere close to being done because these maps have been close, and I think DDB is going to come into map 3 with a vengeance. So stay tuned, everybody.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Can we tell? right, everyone, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the level 5-minute break. Maybe got some popcorn, some water, had a quick bio. Who knows? I don't really care. But we are back in with our match between the Dublin Dababys and the New York Street Rats. The New York Street Rats are currently 2-0 so far in this series with wins on Yizhong Tower and Hollywood. So Dublin Dababys, I mean, this is life or death for them. They're looking to try and get that reverse sweep, while NYSR is looking to close out this series with a succinct 3-0.
We're going to go into another DDB map pick. It's going to be Rialto. Sadly, they did actually pick all 3 maps so far when you think about it, but we're going to go into Rialto. What this means is they're probably going to look to play a little bit more of that poke comp. They've looked pretty good on the dive. I think, just a couple small errors. Hopefully, Avio and his monolith-sized brain and salty coaching kind of set this team straight. But yeah, it looks like we're going to actually be heading in right now. Looks like we're just waiting on a 3-2-1.
Yeah, and no changes in terms of roster. Sheba and Carson to the support line from NYSR as well as Silent and Kristen on DPS. So no considerable changes in terms of any composition, any roster changes. So we probably won't be seeing too much of Lucio from the New York Street Rats, as that's more of a Ghost Rider pick, as they are looking to be playing. Oh, well, I mean, looking at the Dublin Dababys, they're playing this. They're looking to be playing a Pybux on the Genji, with Dio on the. Not sure what's going on here.
I know what is going on. So we're actually gonna have to start the game mode. That is what is going on. That right there is going on.
It seemed to have a little bit of an issue in terms of the lobby. Our sincerest apologies. I don't know how that happened.
And a stream, to be honest, but it happens. We'll see if Pybex does go back to the Genji here. Not really a DPS player. They did pick up a player recently, Me6. He 5,000 SR in every role. If this is a loss for them here, I'm sure he can carry them to every victory in the future.
Yeah, I mean, per the rulebook, Me6 is unable to play in this match, as they have to be signed at minimum 24 hours before a match. However,
he's also 1,200 SR over the limit, but that's a whole different
story. That as well. I mean, that could be an issue. I mean, I'm not really sure how that'll work into like the SR averages. But Me6, very good player, 5,000 SR on all of the roles. This is such a stupid conversation. Let's actually talk about Overwatch, shall we? So Pybux and Mizra on the ball and the Sigma here. This is a pretty standard Mizora. I keep saying that wrong. I apologize. But a pretty standard ball sig comp. Something that we saw a lot in the gauntlet, the contenders gauntlet meta. But a more dive competition coming out from NYSR here on Rialto.
Yeah, again, we highlighted that this is going to be a good place for DDB to play that poke comp, and this is something we know they excel at. Pybux, especially on that ball, is a very good player. And again, I think as long as they can take their time, take their space, Pybux is going to go a little low. But as long as they can take their time, play their own game, they should be fine. But
Pybux going in very aggressively while also very low on HP. A little bit of a uncharacteristic feed from Pybux there, as the NYSR just continued to accumulate push on this payload. Silent able to find a quick little tap onto Ivy there, and Kristen on the Avio. I mean, Silent known for his Widow gameplay, a Widow 1v1 specialist for sure. This is the Dublin Dababys have been completely unable to find any footing as they're looking to switch comps now. It looks like Miz and Pybux are throwing themselves off the map, probably looking to get a better respawn. This is uncharacteristic for sure from Dublin Dababys.
This Silent Widow actually does interest me a lot because, usually I think it's Phrase who's going to play the Widowmaker for them, but he's out for personal reasons. But it definitely does look like... I want to see if Dio is going to switch. Dio's going to switch to the Kree here, not the Widow. I would have been very excited to see the Dio Silent Widow 1v1.
That would have been fun, yeah. That would have been fun to watch.
Again, NYSR is going to continue to get space on that cart. The Nano's going to go on, to drop in here as he makes space.
Forced to use his primal, but unfortunately still picked off from the rest of the Dababys. Ivy using that pulse bomb to find Kristen. I mean, 2 picks already for Dababys as she looks to chase that tracer. But with Pybux going in here, Dababys has an advantage. This looks like a pretty easy team fight win here for Dublin. Pybux forced to back off a little bit, and going a little bit overextended there. But NYSR remaking, maybe looking to just take a quick re-engage here, despite how strangely that last team fight ended. Mizora with the Diva Bomb. It's probably gonna be popping this once he gets out of mech. But the upside finding pick there, Kristen's gonna be pretty big. A lot of damage from the damage from NYSR is mitigated from that pick onto Kristen. Surprised he didn't use that the duplicate there to survive, but Silent able to win the two duel against Ivy. A little bit of BM there, as the rest of the NYSR cleans up Dababys on the second point. As that card continues to get pushed, Mizora forced to put himself in the drink to get the respawn.
Ivy is gonna lose the Tracer 1v1 there, but I still want to highlight. We saw it. His half-court pulse bomb. That I was impressed by that. It was very clean to say the least. But as DDB re-enters this fight here, they're not gonna have the tools. And Pybux just gonna die to that bomb.
That's an unfortunate pick from on the Pybux from the Diva Bomb. The upside able to find Silent, which is a good little reconciliation, but the point still goes over to Dababys as the camera chases them back into their spawn as they run away in fear.
Yeah, this is, again, we're going to look into this fight here. You're on the Diva instead of the Zarya, so these monkeys definitely do have to play a little bit more passive. But if you're the NYSR, you're going to want to use these ults. You're going to want to use these ults first. Ooh, okay. Diva's going to get that pick onto Silent, which is really going to slow down the tempo here. And I was just about to say, if you're DDB, you want to get that pick. You want to be able to slow this tempo down a little bit with your ultimates, so NYSR doesn't get the full value of their own. And I think that pick did exactly that. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
fine here. He's going to go down to 1.
Yeah, Kristen forced to use the duplicate just to survive, but he's able to capitalize on that, finding the upside. The Diva Bomb coming in from Kristen as well, being able to make space, finding 2 on the Pybux and Rin. I mean, what started as a desperation ultimate has now turned into 3 kills from Kristen. Incredibly impressive play there from the Echo player, falling up on the Avio. Mizora is in spawn. I'm not really sure what exactly he's doing, but the cart continues to be pushed. As Droppin is playing aggressively, looking to just use that primal ultimate to make as much space as they can, forcing 2 of the DDB players back in their spawn. The primal coming out there, juggling what looks to be Rin and the upside. The upside now being juggled as well by Droppin. Droppin's been playing excellently on this win throughout the entirety of the series. As Ohm and Silent clean up the rest of DDB, Kristen fighting picking up Pybux. The Diva Bomb coming after him. Ohm. This looks like this is looking to be a 3rd point capture for the NY for the New Street Rats.
That they're gonna cap that 3rd point. They're gonna have virtually 3 minutes on that clock, and Again, I really just want to highlight that, the fights that NYSR is winning, it's not always going to be, they're going to get the first pick. They're going to have these perfect fights because I think DDB is going to have their foot on the gas going into every fight, right? They tend to get the first pick a lot of the times, but as soon as they get that first pick, I think they can't just keep thinking that the fight is over because, like I said, going to the first map or after the first map, time and time again, NYSR is going to surprise you and win fights that they shouldn't win. We see Kristen. We talk about these individual players. Kristen, he's going to be forced to use that copy. He's going to get the counter pick onto DDB. He's going to kill Dio on that Kree, and he's going to end the fight with a 2k Diva Bomb there. Like, we talked about how they needed to get that pick, but they can't just get the pick and kind of, relax in their gamer chairs. They have to still realize that they've made it this far in the tournament. Their competition is not going to be easy, and they need to realize that you can't really take your foot off the gas, especially down 0-2. There's no time, no room for that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Ola said it. No slouching. You gotta pick yourself up in those gamer chairs and really, set your sights on winning this map, because this is do or die for the Dababys. This could be the end of their run if they end up losing this map. So this is very important.
Yeah, put your headset on, gamer. You got a game to play, so
yeah, put your headset on. You got a game to play. Uber Shouts, one of my favorite casters. But Pybux here on Pybux and Mizora back on this ball Sigma comp once again with Ivy on the Tracers. Something that they're pretty accustomed to, pretty used to. But Pybux going in once again very deep, unprotected. That might be a little risky for dropping. Oh, and he gets booped, not even booped into the drink, but just like nudged into the edge. Yeah, just slightly pushed into the edge, and that is a big advantage there for Dublin Dababys. Diopside making space here with Missouri on the Sigma, putting in damage, finding that high ground. I mean, this is a advantageous position for sure. And as I said, that Silent able to find 2 onto Pyrex and Ivy, and that is definitely a turn for the worse for the Dublin Dababys here.
I think, like I said, you gotta keep those mentals good, but I think this one has got hurt. We hyped up DDB's poke comp at the start. NYSR never really played this poke comp so far, but if you lose here, right, and you're DDB, you've got to feel like, this is our chance. This was supposed to be our moment. This is the thing we were supposed to excel at. And definitely some interesting compositional choices going to be in for NYSR, specifically looking at that Genji. So DDB is going to have their moments to take their fights, take their advantages, but so far they haven't shown that to us yet.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to see just a little bit more intelligent positioning here from DDB. I feel like a lot of the time they're just kind of not taking the high ground as they really as they really should be. As we're going to hide chat quickly, but I mean, DDB has been completely unable to really find any positioning, any footing. But as I say, that Diopside able to win that Ashe duel against Silent. The blade coming out from Kristen that was able to find too. I mean, this is pretty big. Ivy with the pulse bomb onto Drobbin, or sorry, onto Ohm, unable to turn that into a pick. But the naked blade coming in from Kristen was definitely a good response. They're able to turn the tides of that team fight a little bit more in favor of NYSR. DDB is once again forced back into their spawn room.
I mean, again, you're DDB, you start that fight, you get 2 picks, you're feeling confident. But time and time again, NYSR proves that it's never over till they say it's over. They're going to return the favor with multiple picks. Kristen's going to pull out the blade. He's going to get a lot of value, going to get multiple picks that fight. And they're going to end up winning the fight. Yeah,
Pilot once again going incredibly deep in, Drobbin able to find his counterpart with the proximity mines. Drobbin also finding Avio as well. Drobbin has surprisingly been playing a lot better on this ball than Pylux has. As Kristen with the Genji pick able to find 2 there. Almost add another blade. That's gonna be incredibly impactful in this next team fight. Hopefully, NYSR has been just completely stomping here on this first point of Rialto.
I mean, so far, this map really is just all NYSR. Another pick going to come in there. The Tran's going to come in from Carson. I think they're toying with them now at this point.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit of BM. May have just been, Carson was low and he needed to save himself. Play for your life is very important. But NYSR is, this is once again an incredibly uphill battle for Dublin Dababys, and there's nothing they can really do. Ivy, looking to get a little bit poked, trying to finish that pulse bomb out, but. Kristen with the blade here, as well as the Bob and the proximity mimes for point control. Sheba popping the valve just preemptively. This is difficult for sure for Dublin Dababys. Ivy's able to find Carson, which is an incredibly big pick. And the upside, able to clear out the Bob. A good resto from Sheba onto Carson is going to be kind of negating the value of that pick. As Silent finds Ivy, that will not be able to be rezzed out. Actually, they might be able to be rezzed out by Rin, hopefully, if they want to be able to win this team fight. But Kristen with the blade coming out now, he's able to find Avio. Mizra falls up with the pick on the Carson, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Pybox surprisingly able to find Kristen. Kristen a little bit out of position there. This is a back and forth fight on this point. DDB is simply grasping for their life. Oh, finding 2 kills with the Diva Bomb. That is likely going to be that is the fat woman. That is the fat lady thing right there for Dublin Dababys. That is the end of the opera. It looks like. But as I'm saying that, Rin is able to find a huge raise on the Pybox, able to elongate this fight, but Sheba pulling up the Glock, able to find her counterpart in Rin. NYSR simply coming back from spawn. This is an incredibly difficult fight for the Dublin Dababys. Diopside able to find a pick on the drop in though with the Doomfist change, but Kristen and Carson, the dynamic C's of NYSR are able to close out this map. It looks like not much left for the Dublin Dababys was able to do anything. Rin is hacked on point. It looks like there's kind of toying with them at this point. Pybo's finding time onto the point as well. It really isn't much for Dublin Dababys to do, but if NYSR wants to win this, they got to start finding those picks fast. Kristen able to find a quick little dash onto Pybox. Bomb coming up from there from Ohm, finding Ivy. Surprisingly, I'm not sure how that happened. Arena kill as well into Misra, and that is it for this series. NYSR has cleanly swept the Dublin Dababys 3-0. finishing the series out on Rialto with a full hold. I mean, that was quite an impressive feat there from the New York Street Rats.
Oh my God, that was not the series I think we expected. Specifically on this last map here, we were questioning the Genji pick at first, but Kristen really just left VC, put on some Naruto, and just went to town on the Genji pick there. Really impressive stuff coming in from him, though. I don't know how much of that. I doubt that was, a pre-planned strategy, more just, 2-3 minutes on the clock. Well, let's just play what we want to play here. So.
Yeah, Christian just popped on the Naruto OP compilation and just went to town on the Genji. Able to find some really impactful plays there.
But all right, so the match is behind us, right? What of our kind of your takeaways from this have to be is I think NYSR is a very well-rounded team that is always going to perform in the clutch, right? We've seen time and time again they're going to start fights down, and they just come back from it. And I think if your main tank difference going into this finals, you have to learn from these mistakes and you have to make sure that your feet is going to be on the gas the entire time, which is something that DDB definitely struggled with here.
Yeah, definitely. And now as we so this has now solidified that the New York Streets will be facing off against the Man-Tank difference in the grand finals of our Fathom Forum. It's going to be a surely exciting map. Surely an exciting match, I hope. I say that every time we have said that a streamed game of the New York Street Rats will be exciting, it's been a 3-0, either in the favor or against the New York Street Rats. So, I mean, I'm a little bit worried to be saying that the Fathom Forum the Fathom Forum Grand Finals will be an exciting match, because when we say that a streamed NYSR game is an exciting match, it tends to not be. So let's just be optimistic as to how the Fathom Forum Grand Finals will be. But with NYSR finding that 3-0 victory against the Dublin Dababys, that is going to be putting them right into the line of sights of the main difference. Now, I think it's important that we discuss who will be the player of the match here. I have my opinions. I want to hear yours, Olu.
I mean, going down their roster, I think the most impactful player throughout the entirety of the series, for me, it's going to be Droppin.
I agree. I was going to say either Dropin or Chris. I think both of them had fantastic series. All three maps they played well. But Dropin on Hollywood was simply a clinic of how to play Winston, and then even on Rialto, his ball was surprisingly good, able to simply outmatch Pybuk, someone who was renowned for their ball gameplay.
Yeah, so we're gonna see if we can actually get Droppin in here in a little bit. We'll just wait for him a little bit. But yeah, I think Droppin had a Gordon Ramsay masterclass performance on all three of those maps, specifically map 2, just how you play Monkey, how you want to approach these team fights. He had to play against the Poke, he had to play against the Brawl, he had to play against the dive counter mirror, and he always came out on top.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking to get Droppin and the interview quickly here. As much as the NYSR would like Sheba to be a player of the match, I believe Droppin fully deserves it. He played out of his mind this entire series, especially on that map 2, even on map 3 as well. Simply fantastic main tank. I mean, we've been hyping up the NYSR tank line, I think since the beginning of the season, to be honest. A fantastic off tank in his own right, but Droppin definitely just displayed some simply displayed some masterful work on the main tank here. So we're trying to bring him in for an interview real quick. Is that him? All right.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey,
Droppin. We want to quickly congratulate you on the 3-0 as well as the player of the match. So, now that you're going to be facing off against MTD in the grand finals, how are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling great. After that 3-0, I feel like we can just 3-0 them, honestly.
I mean, I actually got a chance to talk to MTD after their game, and they were feeling very confident, to say the least. They actually expected Dublin Dababys to win, right? So, a little bit on, the doubters of NYSR. What do you have to say to them?
Dude, we're just showing up. We're playing strong. We had that. I don't think we were placed high enough on the seeding, if I was honest. I mean, Dublin was second. I agreed with Evan. I thought they were a little overrated. And we had the tough match against the Ravens, and Honestly,
Oh,
just
the Wyverns.
I mean, sorry, the Ravens. Yeah, I always fucked or screwed up. Sorry, my bad, my
No
bad.
worries, no worries. I also screw
Um,
things up
I
sometimes.
mean, it's my
yeah,
team. That's whatever.
I'm just excited for this next match for sure.
So looking ahead to that grand finals match, do you have any words for the main difference going into it?
Um, they might have to change their name after this match.
Okay, I mean,
Oh.
a, s- a small thing to say, but
That was
I
out of
mean,
pocket.
thank you, Hunter, for the commentary. That was incredible. I mean, despite how few words that was an incredibly impactful statement to make. Gallant, the main tank of entity, maybe he's got to watch his back a little bit on you dropping.
All I'm saying is that I'm ranked plat right now, so if we beat them, that's gonna be a bad look for them. That's all I'm saying.
Dropping. You better drop your nuts in them house. I'm telling you
That's
that
true,
right
dude.
now. On
I
God.
have one more question though, right? You played a lot of different things. You played the ball on last map. Talk to me a little bit about that, because Evan and I were kind of going back and forth on whether or not that was a planned strategy. I mean, we saw Kristen on the Genji at that point. Was that something you guys kind of
Well,
had preset going into that map?
not really. We were in spawn after we did well in the first push. I just told Kristen, I was like, all right, we're gonna pull out the Genji or whatever, you know?
Okay.
And we just kind of put that together, but we just have such great synergy that we just know how to play it together well,
Yeah.
like whatever we do.
Yeah, I mean, that synergy definitely came to that synergy eventually was the kind of deciding factor here. I'd argue. Um, I want to quickly ask about so on the very in the very opening of this series on Lijiang Tower Gardens, you guys took a pretty decisive loss on that round, but we're able to pretty quickly bounce back and just kind of throughout the rest of the series. Was there what kind of comms were going on in the NYSR channel that led you guys to bounce back as effectively as you did?
Honestly, we don't really play that well in Lijiang, so we kind of just pushed it aside. We were just, um, I don't know. That was the first map. I'm trying to remember, but we just lost. It's only um, one round that we lost, so we kind of just were like, we got two more to play, so just like keep your head in the game kind of thing.
Yeah.
So one final question from me though is, in your MTD game, when you do go up against them, you're going to be up against Gallant, right? Gallant is someone who's been on teams that have, I don't want to say always have been successful, but he has the track record to back up, anyone who says that he's the best main tank in the league. And I know you already had a message to main tank difference as a whole, but Gallant, is pretty high on himself right now. Is there anything you want to say to kind of put him in his place, if you will?
Um, yeah, I mean, the only other time that he played against us and played against me was back when he was on Boston Blaze, and right now, I mean, obviously as it is, we're the two best teams in the league right now. So his other wins don't really, affect me that much. Like
Oh,
the
shit.
only, I mean, it's gonna be good fun, and like I respect them and stuff. I'm not trying to like diss him too much, but the only time, yeah, he was on Boston Blaze, and we had a bad match. I mean, we had a match ban player, whoever that was, and then a lot of our other players couldn't show up, and we had to kind of just fill in off roles that weren't really synergized together yet. So,
Yeah.
hmm And
So
well, one final question from me. When Silent got that C9 on second point of Hollywood, what did it sound like in
that
the
was
VC?
Kirsten, right?
Oh, was
Was
it
that?
Kristen?
Yeah, that was
It might have been
Kirsten.
Kristen. It was. I think it was Tracer player. I'm not sure because Silent and Kristen did flip off
Yeah, that was
on the Tracer
Kirsten
there, so I'm not sure
on
who it
Echo.
was. It might have been Kristen. Yeah.
Yeah,
But what
they were
did it sound
just
like?
like after we got it, because they were
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, I'm C9ing," and we are just like, "Oh, let's go." But I mean, we were gonna get that point anyways without it. That's what I'm
Okay.
thinking. So,
Wow.
A
Wow.
lot of confidence. A lot of confidence. I like it. I like it. Well, I believe that's all the questions we have for you, Mr.
yeah,
Dropper. And once again, congratulations for the 3-0 as well, the player of the match. I
I got
was
one more thing though.
Oh.
yes.
Shiba, I'm gonna share this player of the match with Shiba because she's been consistent like throughout all the maps that we've been playing. She's playing insane. I kind of, felt bad that she didn't get it too, but I'm sure
Really,
she'll get it.
she really
She'll
played
get it
all
grand
over us
finals
though.
or something.
For sure. I mean, the entire team played extremely well today, and arguably this could have gone to almost anyone. So,
Yeah.
again, congrats to
Thank
you,
you guys for
congrats to
bringing me.
NYSR, and I hope for the best for the grand finals, and we'll see what happens then.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, Dropping. Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right. Well, you just heard from main tech extraordinaire, Mr. Droppin for the NYSR, after their concise 3-0 victory against Dublin Dababys. I hope everyone
I think
enjoyed that match. I know I did.
I think it was close. I think it was close personally. I don't know what
It
you
was
mean
a
by
close match.
I don't know what you mean by
Yeah.
clean, but it was a lot close. Okay, I don't want to hear about like, oh, it was clean, it was quick. You know, I don't want to hear any
I
of
said it
that.
was concise. I said concise is what I said.
DDB
But I
put up
mean,
a good fight. Listen, hardcore
yeah,
DDB fan till the end. I'm just saying that right now.
yeah. I mean,
It
don't
was
don't let the scoreline fool you. It was pretty close, except
it
for
was
maybe
back and
Rialto.
forth.
But
Yeah, Rialto was a
Listen.
different story, but
Okay, listen. Avion is
let's hold on. Let's talk about DDB a little bit, right? You know, it's a hard loss, but it's not over. You did extraordinary well in your qualifying matches for this tournament. You know, going forward in the season, what should they kind of hope for?
I think that they should be hoping to get into that. If I remember your question correctly, I think they should be hoping to get into that next mid-season tournament, prove themselves again, see if they can get to number one this time. I think they need to work on getting closer as a team, work on getting that synergy up again, because new DPS player, new them.
mhm.
I think that
I think one thing I would like to personally see is a little bit more coordination between their ball and their chaser player. Just as a coach, that was kind of something that I recognized
I
as a
do
bit of a
want to
flaw there. But
I do want to recognize the situation they were put in. Ivy was gone for quite a bit, so they've been running, a little bit of interesting DPS lineups.
It's definitely not over for them. I
They
mean,
definitely have a big chance to make it.
they are, in terms of tournament seeding, they're going to be the second seed if they and MTD were to win every other match the exact same way until they end up facing each other. But it's definitely not over for them. They have a long season ahead of them, and I think this one tournament loss really
It doesn't.
is going to mean too much at the end of things. And I think they just got to keep their heads high, realize that they got the 4-0 to start off, and they can do it again. And moving on a little bit over to the street reps, though, this has to be a big win for you. I mean,
absolutely,
a lot of people were saying that DDB was the team to beat. We talked a little bit to the main tank difference players at the end, and most of them were expecting DDB to win win this match and play them in the finals. So for New York Street Reds, I mean, you've got to be confident after this win.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just happy because this gives Wildwoods a better look.
Wow. Nah, check it.
I'm just
Osaka
just throwing that one out
up
there.
on a turn up. I'm telling you that right now.
Just I mean, this makes me a little bit happy because it gives Wildwoods a little bit better look. For my own personal biases and whatnot. But I mean, NYSR surely has to be quite excited with this one. I mean, being able to compete in the grand finals of our Fathom Formal is going to be a huge deal for sure. So I'm sure they're elated. I'm sure they're incredibly excited.
Oh God, I
And it's gonna be
misstreamed
a.
that, don't I?
Yeah, well,
I mean,
it
maybe.
could be anyone,
Yeah, it could
Could
be
be anyone, could
anyone.
be
Yeah,
anyone.
it could be anyone, guys. Yeah.
So, a couple of last words though is
Am I allowed to send?
we'll probably do this, when we do have our next stream. But for our predictions, right? If we are not on the booth, you're not in the booth for the next one, between MTD and New York Street Reds, who do you have winning finals, and what's your map score?
Oh, William Pred's here. A little bit of a prediction here.
They're winning it all.
I think that's a little bit of a
They're winning
contentious
it all.
opinion held.
They're winning it all.
Who's we? Mr. Osaka Blossom? I
I
don't
said
even
it, they're
want to hear
winning
it.
it all. I said they are.
Oh, okay. I'm going to be having. I mean, I'm personally I'm rooting for
Fine, I'll
NYSR.
be generous. 4-2 NYSR wins.
Generally. Okay, Evan, what about you?
Personally, I'm going to be rooting for NYSR. I mean,
they were slipping a little bit.
if Wildwoods are going to lose, we want to lose the team that wins. So I'm going to be rooting for NYSR. I'm going to say.
4-2.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think
See,
4-2. I think
I got great
NYSR had an
opinions.
incredible showing on this map.
It's
In this match, I don't think MTD's been able to really have much practice in this formal. The buy round to begin with, as well as a very fast 3-0 to Blaze. They didn't really have that as much, as much work. They didn't have to put in as much work as NYSR did, and so that might be a little bit detrimental in the long run. So I'm confident in NYSR. I want them to win, so I'm going to say 4-2 to NYSR.
Okay.
Olu,
I
your opinions?
have a pretty similar take. I think NYSR today showed us that they are versatile and they are clutch. And I think they've been tested. The games they've played, they have been tested. And like you said, I don't really think MTD, has had that challenge. So I think this series could go the distance. I think it definitely could be a 4-3.
4-2.
But I do see NYSR taking this. Now, in terms of the map score, though, I am very convinced that this could be a 4-1 victory, but I do think and I do trust in MTD to kind of collect themselves and, maybe hit them with a surprise once more. So I think 4-2 is actually very reasonable, but I think it would be 4-2 NYSR.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And then
4-2. That's it.
And then MTD is gonna 4-0, and we're gonna be laughing stocks. And that's just how these things kind of go.
Right.
What can you do?
Right. Might be a little bit right.
Where's
What
Danny?
can you do? What can you do?
Vancouver Titans or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah, like.
Hey, listen, man. I'm part of the Sheba Stan army now, so we all lining up for her. Let's be real here. She carrying the team on her back. They ain't dropping in it. It's Sheba.
But yeah,
No comment.
so
No comment.
it was a good game. I had a lot of fun casting with you. It's been a while, Evan. Good to be back.
Feels nice.
It's
Back in the booth.
two
Sheba
quick
flag.
games, 2 3-0s,
What? Nah,
and it
nah,
all
listen.
comes down to this last final match. So
This
thank
game
you
was
guys
long. This
so
game
much for
was
watching.
like an hour long. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
So before we go, I want to once again thank Hasadrano for
Yes.
his fantastic production as always. Being able to being able to stream both this and the last match.
And also
I
casting
also want to
in between for Olu. Yeah.
a little bit of intermediary casting, just when Olu had to go for a sec. But I also want to thank once again Sheep and Ohm for casting the last match. Olu, I want to thank you for casting with me, and casting is fun. I like it a lot. I want to thank everyone for coming out to tonight's stream. So
They should put me on the desk more often.
not as many people as the last stream. I mean, that was kind of crazy how many people we got. But I want to thank everyone once again for coming out. It was a great time, and we're definitely looking forward to the grand finals of the Fathom Formal. I hope everyone has a great night, and stay tuned for what's coming next.
On God,
Yeah.
listen, they should put me on the desk more. I'm being dead serious. I'm so based. My takes are too based. On God.
Get this guy out of here. I don't even know. He just showed up one day. He was like, "Yeah, I'm a mod now." I have no clue how he got here.
4-2.
Get this kid out.
4-2 NYSR. See you later,
Good night,
Fathom.
everybody.